Have you ever heard people warn against leaving your hair down or looking in the mirror late at night? Maybe you brushed it off as an old wives' tale, but what if those warnings are based on something very real? What if danger could be just around the corner, hiding in plain sight? This story will make you question everything you thought you knew. Welcome, horror seekers. I am Abraham Lincoln. In this channel, we explore the most terrifying and bone-chilling stories ever told. From the shadows of history to the darkest corners of the world, join me as we dive into tales that will haunt your nights. Today, I'm going to share with you a true story that's as unsettling as it is mysterious. It's one of those stories that people don't talk about much, but this story, it really happened. And after you hear it, you might start to wonder how many other stories like this are out there. It all started 24 years ago in 2000 in a quiet American town, Clearwater. Our story centers on a 22-year-old girl named Emily Carter, who lived with her parents, Lisa and Greg, in a small 2-bedroom apartment. They were an ordinary family, living a quiet life in a town. Emily was a beautiful young woman, so beautiful, in fact, that people couldn't help but notice her. Boys were constantly staring, trying to get her attention, and even the girls in the neighborhood whispered about her looks. But what nobody knew was that Emily's beauty had attracted the attention of something far more dangerous than an ordinary admirer. It wasn't just the boys who noticed Emily. Something much darker had its eye on her, and once it decided she was its target, there was no escape. At 22, Emily's parents decided it was time for her to marry. They arranged for her to meet a young man from a good family. He was kind, handsome, and seemed like the perfect match for her. But just days before the wedding, disaster struck. Emily's fiancé was found dead in a terrible car accident. His car had veered off the road and into a ditch. No one could explain how it happened. He wasn't speeding, the weather was fine, and there were no other cars involved. Everyone was devastated, especially Emily. She didn't know him well, but losing someone she was about to marry shook her deeply. Her parents, however, didn't dwell on it for too long. They believed in moving forward, so a few months later, they found another young man for Emily to marry. At first, everything seemed fine. The new fiancé was charming and thoughtful, and Emily's parents were hopeful that this time things would go smoothly. But the night before the wedding, tragedy struck again. Emily's fiancé was found dead in a car crash. Just like the first groom, his car was discovered in a ditch. No signs of foul play, no clear explanation for the accident. 2 men, 2 mysterious deaths, both right before their weddings. Coincidence or something far more sinister? The truth would soon reveal itself, and it's more terrifying than anyone could have imagined. Emily's parents were starting to panic. 2 young men had died, both closely tied to their daughter. It was too much to be a coincidence. But while her parents worried, Emily began to experience something even stranger. At night, when she lay in bed, she felt an eerie presence in her room. It was as if someone was there with her, watching her. She even felt the weight of someone sitting on the edge of her bed. But whenever she looked, no one was there. Her parents thought it was just the stress of everything she had been through, but Emily knew something was wrong. The feeling of being watched was growing stronger, and it wasn't just at night anymore. During the day, too, she felt as though invisible eyes were following her every move. Months passed, and Emily's situation only got worse. The family had to cancel yet another wedding, and no one wanted to come forward with new proposals. Word had spread through the town. People whispered that Emily was cursed, that anyone who got close to her would meet a horrible fate. Her parents, desperate for answers, took her to see a local spiritual healer. This healer had seen many strange cases before, but as soon as he met Emily, he knew something was very wrong. After speaking with her and performing some rituals, he revealed the chilling truth. Emily wasn't just being haunted, she was being possessed by a spirit that was obsessed with her. The spirit, he explained, wasn't an ordinary ghost. It had attached itself to Emily because it was in love with her. The ghost had claimed her as his own and didn't want anyone else to have her. It was this spirit that had killed both of her fiancés, and if they didn't act quickly, it would kill again. Imagine being so deeply desired by a ghost that it would do anything to keep you, even take the lives of those you loved. That's exactly what Emily was facing, and there seemed to be no way out. The healer went on to explain that Emily had attracted the spirit through a seemingly harmless habit. She often went out in the late afternoon with her hair down, wearing strong perfume. This combination had caught the attention of the ghost, who followed her from a deserted area she often visited with her friends. Once it had set its sights on her, there was no escape. The spirit believed that Emily was his bride. Every night, it would visit her, sitting at her bedside, claiming her as its own. The healer warned that if something wasn't done soon, the spirit would become even more possessive and might take Emily's life if she tried to marry again. Emily's family tried everything to break the spirit's hold on her. They performed rituals, brought in more healers, and even moved houses. But nothing worked. The ghost refused to leave. It had chosen Emily, and it wouldn't let her go. Now, 24 years have passed. Emily is 46 years old, still unmarried and living in isolation. The spirit never allowed her to have a normal life. Every night, it is said, the ghost still visits her, sitting beside her bed as if she were his forever. Emily has long since stopped trying to fight it. There's no point anymore. The ghost will never let her go. Can you imagine living your whole life knowing that a ghost is always watching, always waiting, and will never let you go? For Emily, that's her reality, trapped by a spirit she can't see but feels every night. It's not the kind of story you hear often, but there are more like it out there, buried in silence because people are too afraid to speak. The question is, how many other lives are being haunted by forces we can't see? If you're wondering why Emily didn't just leave the house, the answer is simple. Not all spirits are tied to places. Some are tied to people. This ghost wasn't attached to Emily's home, it was attached to her. These kinds of spirits are the most dangerous. They don't care where they are, as long as they're near the person they've chosen. And once they choose you, there's no escape. You can't see them, but you can feel them. And if you start feeling that presence, well, you might just be the next Emily. So, if you're going out at night, be careful. Don't leave your hair down, and don't wear strong perfumes when you're in a quiet or dark place. Who knows, the next story might be about you. That's it for today. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe and click the bell for more. I'd love to hear your thoughts and any ghost stories you have, so leave a comment below. Until next time, stay curious and brave, because every ghost has a story to tell.